Ferrari has finally entered the fully electric era. But instead of simply putting a battery into a traditional supercar, Ferrari has created something completely different. More than 1,000 horsepower, over 530 kilometers of range, and a 310 km/h top speed. This isn't just an electric Ferrari. It's Ferrari redefining what an electric Ferrari should be. 2. Introduction. For decades, Ferrari has built its identity around engines. V12s, V8s, turbochargers, and, more recently, hybrid technology. But now comes the biggest technological change in Ferrari's modern history, the company's first fully electric production car. Ferrari's own technical documentation calls it the Ferrari Elettrica, while current reporting identifies the production model as the Luce. And there is something important to understand immediately. This isn't a conventional two-seat Ferrari supercar. It's a five-seat, four-door electric model designed to expand Ferrari's idea of performance, usability and luxury. Reuters +1. Ferrari has also said that electric cars will remain only one part of its future lineup, alongside combustion and hybrid models. Its 2030 strategy targets approximately 40% ICE, 40% hybrid and 20% fully electric vehicles. Ferrari. So Ferrari isn't abandoning the combustion engine. It's adding another chapter. 3. Exterior design. The design is perhaps the most controversial part of the story. Traditional Ferrari design usually gives you instantly recognizable proportions, a long hood, dramatic rear haunches and a cockpit pushed toward the back. The electric Ferrari takes a different approach. The shape has been heavily influenced by aerodynamic requirements and the packaging demands of a large battery and four-door cabin. That creates a cleaner, more streamlined profile. And because an electric vehicle doesn't need the same cooling requirements as a giant combustion engine, Ferrari has more freedom in shaping the front and body. But Ferrari hasn't simply made a futuristic-looking EV. The company has tried to preserve the sense of movement and aggression expected from a Ferrari. The technical car measures approximately 2,960 mm between the axles and weighs around 2,300 kg in Ferrari's published technical specification. That's heavy compared with Ferrari's traditional supercars. But electric performance brings a completely different engineering challenge. You have to carry a very large battery while keeping the center of gravity low and controlling the additional mass. Ferrari says the Elettrica has a 47/53 front-to-rear weight distribution, which is remarkably close to the balance you'd want in a performance-oriented car. Ferrari. 4. Interior. Inside, the electric Ferrari is designed around a very different idea of luxury. Because it has 4 doors and 5 seats, the cabin is substantially more practical than a traditional Ferrari two-seater. That means this car can potentially serve as a genuine grand touring machine rather than simply a weekend performance car. But don't expect Ferrari to turn it into a conventional family sedan. The cabin remains focused on the driver, materials and craftsmanship. Ferrari has always treated the interior as part of the emotional experience, and electrification doesn't change that philosophy. In fact, the absence of a traditional engine may make the cabin feel even more sophisticated. Instead of listening to a V12 or V8 at idle, occupants experience a quieter environment where the sound of the electric powertrain, rodent electronics can be carefully controlled. That creates an entirely different type of Ferrari experience. 5. Technology. The technology underneath this Ferrari is where things become seriously interesting. Ferrari isn't buying an off-the-shelf electric drivetrain and simply installing it into an existing chassis. The company says its electric technology is being developed around its own performance philosophy, with electric components engineered and produced in Maranello. The published technical specification reveals an 880-volt electrical architecture. That's important because higher voltage allows the car to move large amounts of electrical power more efficiently while helping manage current levels. The battery has a 122 kWh gross capacity. And Ferrari lists a maximum charging power of 350 kilowatts. Ferrari. That's serious charging hardware. But Ferrari's technology story isn't only about charging. It's about controlling multiple electric motors with extreme precision. And that leads us to the powertrain. 6. Engine and performance. There is no traditional engine here. Instead, the Ferrari uses electric motors on both axles. The front E-axle is rated at 210 kilowatts. The rear system can deliver up to 620 kilowatts. Ferrari lists extremely high motor speeds, up to 30,000 revolutions per minute at the front and 25,500 revolutions per minute at the rear. Combined power can exceed 1000 CV in boost mode. Ferrari. And the performance numbers are exactly what you'd expect from Ferrari. 0 to 100 km per hour, 2.5 seconds. Top speed, 310 km per hour. And Ferrari quotes more than 530 km of range under its stated test specification. Ferrari. Think about that for a moment. This isn't an electric car that's fast only in a straight line. Ferrari is targeting supercar-level acceleration while also giving it the range and practicality of a long-distance GT. That combination is the real story. 7. Driving experience. The biggest question is obvious. Can an electric Ferrari actually feel like a Ferrari? That's much harder to answer than simply quoting horsepower. Electric motors deliver instant torque. But Ferrari's challenge is creating emotion. The company says its electric cars are being developed to deliver driving thrills and a differentiated Ferrari experience rather than simply chasing acceleration numbers. Ferrari. The dual-axle electric architecture also gives Ferrari enormous freedom when controlling the car. Torque can be managed extremely quickly. That can improve traction during acceleration and allow engineers to influence the car's behavior through corners. The low battery position also helps lower the center of gravity. But there's still a fundamental compromise. At roughly 2,300 kilograms, this is not a lightweight Ferrari. The engineering challenge is therefore to make a heavy electric vehicle feel agile, precise and responsive. That's where Ferrari's chassis engineering becomes just as important as its motors. 8. Safety. A car capable of accelerating from 0 to 100 km per hour in 2.5 seconds requires serious engineering around the driver and passengers. The electric architecture also introduces different safety requirements because of the high-voltage battery system. Ferrari's approach includes extensive electronic control of the powertrain, braking and vehicle dynamics. But as with every high-performance car, advanced systems don't replace driver responsibility. A 1000-plus CV Ferrari can reach enormous speeds extremely quickly. So the ultimate safety feature remains the person behind the wheel. 9. Reliability and ownership. This is a completely new chapter for Ferrari, so long-term reliability data isn't available in the way it is for established Ferrari combustion models. But an EV does eliminate many traditional mechanical components. There is no engine oil, conventional exhaust system or traditional multi-speed gearbox. On the other hand, this car introduces an extremely sophisticated high-voltage electrical system, multiple electric motors, advanced inverters and a large battery. So maintenance becomes different rather than simply disappearing. Battery health, thermal management and high-voltage electronics become critical. And then there's the price. Current reporting puts the Luce at approximately €550,000, making it firmly a Ferrari-level luxury product rather than an ordinary premium EV. Reuters. Ferrari is also maintaining its strategy of limited volumes and exclusivity. 10. Competitor comparison. The electric Ferrari enters a very unusual market. The Porsche Taycan offers high-performance electric driving with greater practicality, but it doesn't carry Ferrari's exclusivity or heritage. The Tesla Model S Plaid can deliver extraordinary acceleration, but its philosophy is completely different. Then you have ultra-luxury electric models from brands such as Rimac, where outright performance is the central mission. Ferrari's approach is different again. It isn't trying to become an EV company. It is trying to make an electric car that still feels like a Ferrari. And that may be the hardest challenge of all. 11. Pros and cons. Pros. Over 1000 CV in boost mode. An enormous amount of electric performance. 2.5 seconds 0 to 100 km per hour. Supercar level acceleration. 310 km per hour top speed. Far beyond ordinary EV territory. More than 530 km of quoted range. Important for a car designed for long-distance use. 350 kilowatt charging capability. Very high peak charging power. 4 doors and 5 seats. Much more practical than a traditional Ferrari supercar. Ferrari developed electric technology. The company is engineering the key electric systems around its own philosophy. Cons. Very high price. This remains an ultra-luxury Ferrari. Heavy. Approximately 2,300 kilograms is substantial for a performance car. Controversial design. The styling has received mixed reactions. No combustion engine soundtrack. For traditional Ferrari fans, this could be the biggest emotional compromise. Limited real-world history. Long-term reliability and depreciation remain difficult to judge for a brand new Ferrari EV. 12. Buying advice. Who should buy the Ferrari Elettrica? This isn't the car for someone who simply wants the fastest EV. There are cheaper electric cars that accelerate incredibly quickly. It's also not necessarily the car for a Ferrari purist who believes a Ferrari must have a screaming V12 or V8. Instead, this car is aimed at someone who wants Ferrari exclusivity, extreme performance, advanced technology and genuine everyday usability, while being willing to embrace electric power. If your dream Ferrari is a lightweight two-seat supercar with an incredible engine sound, this isn't going to replace that experience. But if you're interested in what Ferrari can become in the electric era, this is one of the most important cars the company has ever produced. 13. Final verdict. Ferrari's first electric car represents something much bigger than a new powertrain. It's a test. Can one of the world's most famous combustion engine brands create an EV that delivers the same emotional connection? The numbers are already extraordinary. Over 1000 CV. 2.5 seconds to 100 km per hour. 310 km per hour top speed. More than 530 kilometers of range. 350 kilowatt charging. And yet the biggest number isn't horsepower. It's the question Ferrari is trying to answer. What does a Ferrari feel like when there is no engine under the hood making the noise? That answer will define this car. And perhaps, more importantly, it will define Ferrari's future. Because Ferrari isn't saying goodbye to the V12. It's doing something much more interesting. It's giving the Prancing Horse another way to run. If you enjoyed this review, subscribe for more Ferrari, Supercar, EV and future car content.